What's up, goons? I'm Ronnie Prado.
And I'm Avery Becker.
And this is the Penalty Box. The first week of the NHL season is finally upon us and has already been host to some impressive matchups and upsets, such as the Canucks' 8-1 victory against the Oilers. And with a new season comes a new opportunity. Opportunity for teams and fans, yes, but also for players. Every year, we as hockey fans look forward to seeing the birth of the next McDavid, Crosby, Ovechkin, or even Gretzky. We witnessed this in 2015 when Edmonton drafted McDavid, in 2019 with Jersey and Hughes, and this year, the hockey world has been anxiously awaiting the debut of Chicago and their 18-year-old rookie center, Connor Bedard. In this week's episode, we will be breaking down his first win in Chicago's opening game against Pittsburgh last Tuesday. Going into the game, Penguins were the majority favorite to win, and for 2/3 of play, they seemed right on the money. However, after going into the third period down 2-1, following a goal from Ryan Donato, the Hawks were able to pick up 3 goals, one from Cole Guttman at 10:05, another from Jack Dickinson at 15:29, and an empty netter from Nick Foligno at 18:33. Avery, how do you feel about the Penguins' performance in this game?
I honestly think they definitely did not play as best as they could. The Chicago Blackhawks had possession for most of the game, and Tristan Jarry, unfortunately, much to your dismay, was just not having a good night. And I think that's just definitely the case with some NHL goalies. Just some nights are their nights, some nights it isn't. But I also think it's the defenseman's duty to help back up the goalie, and they just weren't doing that against the Blackhawks.
And what was your opinion of Bedard's play?
It definitely wasn't, with as good of a player he's hyped up to be, it definitely was anticlimactic, not something we were definitely expecting. But the head coach of the Blackhawks did put him on a line with Taylor Hall and Ryan Donato at his wings. So the head coach definitely has good faith in him. He also had 21 minutes of ice time, and Taylor Hall, in comparison, had 20 minutes. Even with the 1 minute difference, it's still a big deal in terms of the NHL, especially if you're considering a rookie who's never played an NHL game versus a veteran who's had many years in this league. I was very surprised at that. And having just an assist in the second period of the game, I just think it wasn't as best as he could do. He also had 5 shots on goal, which I feel like isn't a lot for a player like he is, where he's just deking past different defensemen.
Especially when the Blackhawks had more shots on goal.
I'm very surprised that a majority of those shots weren't from Bedard. So
yeah. I
also thought it was, if we go into marketing in terms of ESPN, because it was the ESPN game of the night,
right.
The whole pregame show was just showing Connor Bedard getting ready for the game, and they showed a clip of him going to the locker room because he forgot his stick before warm-ups. And this year definitely, in past years, the NHL has had a tough time marketing, and this year they're marketing Connor Bedard very much, and I think it's because they're trying to get more fans into the game, and as we're transitioning from an older league to a lot younger league, Connor Bedard is a player that younger hockey players can look up to and see themselves being as one day in the NHL. And I think it's just a lot of pressure, especially with the draft. They were calling it the Connor Bedard show. I think it's just a lot of pressure for a young kid who's 18 years old. And then including the face-off against Sidney Crosby, it was symbolic, but it's a lot of pressure for a kid to be up against in a face-off versus his childhood idol. I just think he's just kind of got to brush off the rust, get rid of the nerves, and kind of find his way in the league.
Well, young kid or not, as far as Bedard goes, I was extremely disappointed in his performance. To throw a few statistics out at you guys, Ovechkin scored 2 goals in his NHL debut in 2005. In 2016, Austin Matthews scored 4 goals in his debut. And Jake Getzel, who probably is the most underrated player right now, scored 2 goals on his first 2 shots in his debut in 2017. And what did Bedard put up? It's an assist. That's just not worth the hype. Anyway, for UCTV Sports, I'm Ronnie Prado.
And I'm Avery Becker.
And this has been the Penalty Box. You all have a nice night.